Hey Bougie clique. Are you a woman who goes after men who do not want you? Does his rejection make you bitter or hateful towards the women he does like? When we do not have the gaze of the men we want, we often become resentful and feel inferior. That is why it is important to go where you are valued. Like who likes you? Women often want men who don't want us, and instead of accepting rejection, we tend to hate who he does want. While hating on another woman may make you feel better, it does not make a man want you any more, or her any less. It is better to go where you are valued than to try to convince someone to want you. Romantic rejection ignites the brain's motivation and reward centers, similar to the addictive cravings. It's not merely a story of heartbreak. Often, we're not grieving a physical loss. The agony of unrequited love can be as painful as a relationship ending. Another element contributing to this distress could be linked to how we perceive the value of the other person. If someone doesn't reciprocate our feelings or is unavailable for a relationship, their perceived value rises. They become so precious that we feel we can't attain them. From an evolutionary perspective, it would have been advantageous to partner with the most valuable mate. Therefore, it's understandable that our romantic interest grows when we perceive someone as more valuable. Another explanation might revolve around our somewhat addictive tendencies. The anguish and pain following romantic rejection can resemble an addiction. When a romantic partnership dissolves, it's natural to crave the companionship and intimacy we once shared with that individual. Yet, intriguingly, our minds can react similarly even in the absence of reciprocated love or formal relationship. So, what sparks this addictive emotional response? It appears we form attachments to the imagined possibilities of what could have been, despite the impossibility of their actualization. If the other party rejects us, these thoughts can intensify, leading to the development of an obsessive fixation. This mental state can be equated to addiction, characterized by a relentless preoccupation with specific thoughts. Your attachment style can significantly influence how you manage relationships, particularly those where your feelings aren't reciprocated. If you have a dependent attachment style, also known as codependent or anxious, you may find yourself drawn to relationships that cause emotional distress. This tendency often stems from a backdrop of emotional neglect during your upbringing. Thus, you may find a strange familiarity in romantic rejection. It's a human tendency to repeat what feels familiar, and those with a history of rejection might unknowingly gravitate towards situations ripe for further rejection. Even though consciously, we understand that seeking pain and suffering isn't healthy, our minds may interpret these painful situations as normal, all because of our past experiences. When we have a history of rejection, such as from a parent, we may unknowingly gravitate towards similar situations, wishing for a different outcome each time. Unfortunately, the scenario tends to repeat itself. Value yourself. Being in a relationship or partnership where you are not valued is a substandard condition or unacceptable. When you are in a substandard condition, you tend to have a fight or flight response, a physiological response to an attack or threat to survival. When you are not valued, you are in a constant state of stress. You are always in survival mode when you do not know your place in someone's life that has a place in yours. Some people only love you for what you can do for them. If you do not fit into their perfect mold, they have no use for you. You can bend over backward for people until it breaks you, and when you are broken, they will forget all about you. Just because people do not value you does not mean you should not value yourself. Learn to say no to people. We constantly make space for people to come to us for help when we can't get help from those same people. We are worn out and tired, but no one realizes it or cares. We are drained emotionally and physically trying to meet everyone's needs, but ours. In the end, we end up hurt, depressed, or without the things we need. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Sometimes you have to be selfish and take care of yourself before you can take care of others. In a perfect world, everyone would treat each other as they wanted to be treated. We would give just as much as we took in an ideal world, but the world is not perfect, and people are selfish. They are more concerned with what they can get out of people and situations than what they can give. I am not saying to not help people, But you have to be careful to not let people use you. Some people constantly need help but can never offer it. Those same people often make you feel guilty for not helping them, even if helping them means hurting you. It is often hard for caring people to grasp the concept that some people just do not care. Some people use manipulation to get what they want. They will use your emotions or even things you have told them in confidence against you to make you do what they want you to do. We all are selfish to an extent. However, some of us have more than just an average amount of self-love or importance. Some of us are arrogant and narcissistic. Some people want you to believe that their life is better than yours. They will say they have a better job, house, or boyfriend and will make all your accomplishments seem meager than theirs. Others will only talk about their own problems, making you feel unimportant or unheard. They will always have a more important story or worse affliction. You do not have to feel guilty for putting yourself first sometimes. If you are only saying yes because of the fear of disappointing someone or backlash, then say no. We should only give or help from a cheerful heart because we want to, not because we feel we have to. Helping others should never be at your own expense. Your worth should not only be connected to what you do, give, or produce. If someone only values what you can do for him or her and not you as a person, you should reevaluate your relationship. Relationships should give and take equally. No one should feel like his or her needs are not being met. No one should feel like they are being taken advantage of. One-sided relationships are my definition of toxic. If you find yourself in a toxic relationship, the best thing you can do is address it immediately, and if things do not change, be strong enough to walk away. What do you think? Are you trying to convince someone to like you? Let me know in the comment section. Stay bougie.